Depot Devoid.
All right.
All right, there we go.
Welcome back to Depot Devoid, where we're going to discuss really, really cool and important subjects to the world, like women's stuff and men's fears of them.
Yeah, we're basically wearing our feminism on our sleeve this week with what might be. I mean, and this I do like to start this out by asking a question about what makes this the most important movie of all time. And I think that's why we're doing this week is in terms of um, films that capture a feminist zeitgeist and that really have like a profound cultural impact. I just like this amazing flashpoint in our cultural heritage. I don't think there is a more important movie um, than Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death.
I would have to agree. It would be very, very unfair of me for the women's movement not to agree with that and to suggest that we are doing this tonight specifically so that our sisters in the jungle can continue eating the few and the proud.
I mean, that's what we're here for. And if we if we can ensure that just one stupid, incompetent man um, is eaten by a cannibal in the name of a matriarchy, I think we'll really have done our job.
When they filmed this documentary, the only thing that they failed to do correctly was have Bill Maher get eaten. They fucked that up and let him live. Things would have been better.
Well, I mean that's really just the first of many times in the career of Bill Maher that he clearly should have been eaten alive and somehow managed to escape that fate. I don't know what it is about this guy. Um, but if you have ever wondered it, I mean, you can see it all begins right here in this incredibly important film.
It's one of the greatest American treasures.
Now, did you see this right away, like in 1988 or whatever when it came out? Like, did you see that immediately when I found it um, at the video store, or
I
did
believe
we keep that from
I
you?
was 10. I think it was when I was 10 in the summertime when we came back to Papa's house, and that's when I watched it the first time, and it was amazing. And we then made a bootleg copy of it, which I watched over and over and over again because it is the
I
greatest movie.
I have a really specific memory of making a bootleg copy of this movie at Les Lemke's house. Do you remember Les Lemke?
I know the name.
He he and his wife way back in the olden days lived across the street from Papa's house when I was really little. Um, and then later, when Mom was going to Southwestern Oregon Community College, they became sort of friends because I guess he was doing stuff there. He and his wife had split up at that point. Like she was insane. Um, but for whatever reason, Mom and Les were in some class together and were working on something. We went to his house and brought a VCR and hooked it up to his VCR. And while they were doing whatever they were doing, I was making a bootleg copy of Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death.
Very cool. That's fun. I don't know why I remember that name because I probably haven't seen that human since I was 6.
I I feel like this is probably the last time that I saw him, and I don't remember it real vividly. I just remember this movie because it made a big impression on me, and I was very keen to have my own copy so that I could watch it as many times as I wanted.
As
Um,
one should.
it's it's a this is a this is a very interesting movie. Um it's kind of hard to describe if you haven't seen it, like just this very strange tonal line that it walks, because it is obviously a spoof first and foremost. It's very spoofy and full of gags. So it definitely, like, it knows what it is, um, but what it's spoofing is so weird and specific, um, that it's just fascinating that it even exists at all, and that it manages to, on the one hand, actually not be particularly offensive, which it's considering the
Shocking.
subject matter. It's surprisingly inoffensive and actually like pretty funny. Um, but it's this weird parody. Like, have you ever seen any of like the actual like the band Cannibal movies that came around at the beginning of the 80s that were like that this is sort of directly parodying? On the one hand, like, they're awful, like the sort of like
I saw a
Italian,
couple.
like they it's this is most specifically sort of coming on the heels of like Cannibal Holocaust is probably the one that most people will know the name of. Also a movie which I can't remember the Italian name of it. It's the US title is usually Make Them Die Slowly. So
Okay.
those two are sort of form the structure of Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death. All of these movies are basically about someone has been sent in to study a cannibal tribe, generally in darkest Africa, and they've disappeared, and someone else was sent on to find them and figure out what happened. That's sort of that's the cannibal trope for whatever reason, and that's exactly what we have here. It is also it's also a parody of Joseph Conrad's The Heart of Darkness, which is the same novel that Apocalypse Now is based on. Um, which is a weird thing to be parodying at all, much less with a movie that is a strangely lighthearted and clever take on feminism in the late 1980s.
Good times. I'm going to add a tag here for Steve. Steve, will you edit this part out? Vincent's here and he needs to talk to me about something. Yes, Vincent? The entirety of what's in your left hand, unless you're a little more hungry, and maybe we should dig a little bit more into the other one. Probably a little bit more than the bag in your left. You're welcome. Steve's our editor.
And Ted, of course, is
Steve?
talking about the sack of human body parts that is in Vincent's hand, as he is teaching him the ways of the cannibal.
Yes, it's
for feminism.
Yeah, it's critical. That's basically what it is. It's feminism. That's exactly what men understand, and that's why they made this movie about the obviousness that is women wanting to dominate and eat men.
Well, I mean, not since the 60s.
All right.
So I will, there's one other thing that I would like to address about this movie, which is tangential at best, but also I want to say strangely important. In 1998, I moved to Chicago, and I purchased at the Salvation Army an old Rabbit Ears television, which only got 3 channels, and I think only 2 of those were broadcasting 24 hours a day. So I'm in grad school, I'm up all night. At a certain point, there's really only 2 choices of what to watch. And so I find myself regularly watching an action series called VIP, starring Pamela Anderson, as a girl who works at a hot dog cart who gets asked on a date by a movie star, accidentally saves him from a mugger and becomes famous, is hired by a Hollywood bodyguard agency to be their figurehead, but she'll never be in any danger. It's this really bizarre action comedy series that I watched first just because it was the only thing there, and then with keener and keener interest as it became really engaging, and also I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was about this show that was so weirdly appealing to me. And one day I noticed the opening credits said created by J.F. Lawton, and I was like, I swear I know the name J.F. Lawton for some reason. And so at that time it was a little harder to get on the internet, so I made some effort and looked up this J.F. Lawton character and discovered that in the 1980s, he, under the pseudonym J.D. Athens, had written and directed the movie Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death. And then I was like, that's it. That's the tone. That is what this show is. It's like if Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death was like that Fox Force 5 show that Quentin Tarantino pitched in Pulp Fiction, like that's what this tone is. And then I understood it.
That's fun. However, as we are on a tangent here, and you did reference 1998 and it being a little bit harder to get on the internet there, we have to explain to the young people listening that required the use of a dial-up modem. So you generally don't get to use your telephone anymore because you're on the internet, and you have to dial up to some specific server to get into the internet, and you're not going to do that without hearing
that wasn't even something that I had at that time.
Well, then how the hell did you do it in 98?
At school.
Oh, you were already connected.
I went to school and used my time there to find out about the creator of VIP starring Pamela Anderson.
All right. Well, I mean,
it was way more important than anything that was happening in grad school.
I imagine so. And I never saw the show, but I do know the show. I saw previews for it.
Amazing.
Well,
I mean, it's not, but it's amazing. It's so weird.
I bet. It sounds intriguing, but also not like something that I need to use the hours of my life for.
No, I mean, I wouldn't go to any effort to see it, but like it's fun. Like if I think about it, I'll bring the DVD of the first season with me and loan it to you for however long you want to hold on to it and just check out an episode or two. It's totally goofy. But I was charmed by Pamela Anderson, and like that was literally the only thing I'd ever seen her in, because I've never watched an episode of Baywatch. Eventually I did see that sex tape, but other than that, basically all I had seen was the sex tape and VIP, and she was just absolutely adorable.
I've seen like 3 episodes of Baywatch, which I never quite understood the purpose of. And you've seen significantly more of anything Pamela Anderson than I have, because I never saw either of the other 2 things you mentioned.
You know what I saw that was actually like, okay, there's this really terrible movie called Barb Wire, which is based on this awful sci-fi comic from Dark Horse. It came out when I was in high school. The movie came out later.
Oh, I was thinking Live Wire.
Oh, no, this Pamela Anderson is playing this like badass future babe hunter, ass kicker, hoe bag. We had the DVD at my store, right? So I check it. It's the extended cut, which I think the whole extended part is just this opening credit sequence, which I swear it feels like it goes on for like 10 minutes, and it's just like Pamela Anderson like stripping under like jets of water.
Right.
Sometimes she's on a swing. Like I'm watching this and I like, oh, this is why straight people watch Pamela Anderson. Like I'd kind of forgotten that's like what, like she was just like a doll for people to project on, because I knew her mainly from VIP, in which she's clearly like a doll, but her character on that show is really desexualized. Like she's sexy, but there's never any sex. And that's sort of what Cannibal Women is like too, where there's this it exists in this spectrum where you expect titillation, but it's never really there. And like I don't know if you noticed with this movie, like literally there's tits at the opening credits and then never again.
That was the reason that they did it, was to try and get you locked in before they get the great story about feminism going, and they take it
Which
all
is
away.
the exact same phenomenon as Dr. Caligari, remember?
Yeah.
Where like Mrs. Van Houten is topless for like 10 minutes and then like everything else is just horrifying.
It's great. Now, one more thing before we actually start getting into the movie. I'm going to pretend like we actually have a list going. I don't know if we have a list going, but definitely Live Wire needs to be on it. I haven't seen that movie since I was about 12 years old, and it's fantastically terrible. I remember enough of it right now to say that it needs to be done.
I think we had a list going somewhere, but I don't know if we still do, other than in our heads.
Probably.
Maybe we should make one.
I think that we should probably like set up a Google Docs thing between the two of us, and then
We have one.
Oh yeah, we do. I forgot about that. I forget that I have Google Docs all the time. It's in my pocket, and I never remember it at all.
Well, we should start using it again. There's some fascinating ideas in there that I definitely still want to get to.
All right,
Some
we
of
will
the
get on
weirder,
that.
more complicated, like layered ideas.
All right.
Which is fine. We're doing some pretty straightforward stuff now, which is fine.
Yeah.
And we should continue to do that as well. But like, there's definitely some more fucked up discussions that I'm interested in.
I am totally down.
I also like that parallel series idea with like the Pauly Shore and sort of a versus series.
It has to get done.
I mean, I hate the Pauly Shore part, but you know what I mean.
We have to hate the weasel.
Did you see Pauly Shore is dead?
But is he in real life?
It was a really interesting documentary.
But
In fact, Pamela Anderson was in it.
I want Pauly Shore to still be alive entirely because I want him to be in a movie about the life of Richard Simmons because he looks so goddamn much like him. I'm not joking. Look up Pauly Shore and Richard Simmons.
I maybe it's been a while since it's been a while since anybody's seen what Richard Simmons looks like.
Well, yes, but I want him to do. He did. He's an agoraphobe, but I want Pauly Shore to do it. But I don't want him to do the high pitched voice. I want him to be like, "Hey, I'm dancing with the oldies, sweat."
I don't think I can handle that.
Yeah, but I put it in your head now, and you're going to have to think it.
I mean, that's. I mean, there are
sweating with the oldies and Weasley.
Like,
is.
I mean, there's everything that Will Ferrell has ever done. Like, that's worse.
There was one or two things he did that, but I don't really.
I can't. He grosses me out so much. I can't do it.
It's very frustrating. But
God,
there are singular lines of things that he has spoken that I really enjoy, like "Help me, baby Jesus, put out the invisible fires with your witchcraft" or some bullshit like that.
You can have it.
Anyway, let's actually talk about this movie. In the opening of Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death, when they're going down the river, the camera pivoting throughout that really pisses me off. It's really irritating. It's the worst
That's
opening
your first
ever.
impression of the movie.
Yes, the first impression is it pisses me off. And then it gets to these guys.
I'm sure it's
avocados.
Literally like one circular trough of water that they've got for the entire movie.
Probably.
That they just go around and around it.
Yep. It was really irritating watching the opening. But then immediately it gets better.
This movie is you sort of have to buy into it or you don't. It doesn't make the greatest effort to establish a plausible reality,
Oh no,
even though we
no,
do
it's
open in
perfect.
this. Well, I mean, obviously there's a lush, impossibly dense tropical jungle,
It's
um, and
80% of California.
and exquisite sound design throughout the movie.
My favorite part is when it actually opens up and the one guy's like, "We're lost," and the other guy's like, "Hey, we're not lost." Because
We're lost. No, we're not. Look, over there.
there's an avocado. There's an avocado, so
because
suddenly
the
we're
avocado
not
points the
lost.
way. They don't look dangerous. Okay, so in the reality of this movie, most of California is covered by dense jungle. And that's where we get all of our avocados.
Matt, this is a
But
documentary.
we're only able to harvest them right along the edges because the center of the jungle is controlled by a savage tribe of man-eating women called the piranha women. And we just accept that.
And they've been there for
That's just the truth.
thousands of years. And they speak French, but we'll get to that later.
And yes, it is a strange and difficult language. The opening of the movie has a couple of hapless people hacking their way through the jungle looking for avocados, presumably. They hear some women and they go and find some topless women bathing and playing with beach balls. And then the women see them and murder them with arrows.
And it's great.
That's how the movie opens. So we know that we are in some pretty scary territory right off the bat. Because, I mean, women killing men? What kind of crazy topsy-turvy world is this, Ted? It's
Yeah, they
totally
seem so
insane.
vulnerable and okay to approach.
They look lonely.
Yeah. God, I love this movie. It's terrible.
Cut to Spritzer College,
Feminist cooking classes.
where Playboy's own Shannon Tweed, wife of Kiss frontman Gene Simmons, is teaching a feminist studies course. And she's wondering deep in her heart, Ted, whether the sexes can ever truly be equal. As a feminist and as a scholar, she's teaching about equality, and that is the dream. But I'm not really sure that ethno-historian Margot Hunt truly believes that.
I think that she struggled with this question for a very, very long time. And she has such great students as Bunny to help her.
Now, Bunny, I'll go right on the record immediately. Bunny is the reason I watched this movie in the first place, because I saw her on the box at the video store and immediately recognized her as Tara, the beautiful tomato girl from Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And I fucking loved Karen Mistal as Tara in Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And I was like, holy shit, here is that girl in a movie with another amazing title, Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death. I'm totally on board. So that is why I watched this movie, and it did not disappoint. And I thought, foolishly, this girl is on a roll. Like, she's gonna take Hollywood by storm. And instead, she basically disappeared and was never seen again. I suspect it's because she does this kind of movie and she looks the way she does, but I think maybe she didn't want to show her breasts. And so people were just like, we'll hire worse actresses who will show their tits.
That might be a thing. I know that she's been in a couple of other things.
I want to be wrong, but she's been, like, she was in like the last Dukes of Hazzard made for TV movie, and she has like a credit as like female astronaut in Space Cowboys.
The thing with her from my impression of her, is she's just got such an amazing ability to play that one character that they didn't allow her to do anything else. And even if she just does that one character so perfectly, she should have been in so many more things, because goddamn it,
She
she's fabulous.
really should. Like she's doing really good, like, weird comedy in both of these movies. Like, she's playing I mean, this is the role of, like, the ditzy California girl, which could be incredibly one-dimensional, and I suspect on the page probably was. And she's skillful. She brings something to this that is just like, to me, it's a little bit magic, you know? Like, people are probably not coming to this movie for like nuanced performances, but she really brings it. She's freaking hilarious.
Absolutely.
And she's in Killer Tomatoes, she is too, and that's like, it's actually like a pretty different character. Like, there are some similarities, but she's also playing, like, she's playing a non-human in that movie, and she sells it with, like, she has absurd dialogue in that movie, like, they are gardeners and carpenters, they are not tomato men, and she makes you believe it.
It's fabulous.
Not
Absolutely
everybody can do
fabulous.
that.
And she
I will
wants
die on this hill.
When she's talking to Margot, she's asking about taking feminist cooking classes, and I fucking love it when she's asked, "Are there any feminist cooking classes?"
She actually had, like, she's got a character. Like, she wants to, like she recognizes the value of feminism, but she also really dreams of this very traditional role, and she, like, is trying to articulate, like, that she wants to find that balance somehow. It's a weird fucking movie.
I think that in the moment when the wet t-shirt contest idea is mentioned, and she says,
"But all my t-shirts are dry."
In that moment, everything about her is understood. It's just so good.
Is a little bit naive. But she's so game, you know?
Yep. So when she's approached by, was it the president of the university?
It's the
dean?
The dean, and his name is Dean Stockwell.
That's right. When Dean Stockwell and the man with the eye patch from the military, I didn't take good enough notes.
Colonel whatever.
Yeah. When they approach Margot to go into the avocado jungle to try and reason with the piranha women so that they can get avocados, because, you know, avocados are really super important.
Ted, I think you're forgetting that without access to the avocados in the avocado jungle, the United States is going to be facing a massive avocado gap. Yes. And it is basically treason for you to even suggest that this is not important.
And the military cannot fight the piranha women with their war tactics.
Why do you hate freedom, Ted? Why?
Entirely because of this movie. That's why I hate freedom and I love feminism. This movie.
Yeah, so yeah, there's some military dudes teaming up with the head of the college to strong arm our feminist ethno-historian Dr. Margot Hunt to go into the avocado jungle to try to reason with the piranha women. And she suspects that I mean, she's not the first person that they came to. And so they confess that they actually did send Dr. Francine Kurtz ahead.
Dr. Kurtz.
Dr. Kurtz? Internationally famous author of Smart Women, Stupid Insensitive Men?
And they haven't they haven't heard from her since. But it seems that shortly after they sent Francine Kurtz, the Piranha Women became a lot more aggressive, kind of expanding their territory and making it unsafe for good God-fearing Americans to pick avocados, probably using undocumented labor, even on the fringes of the avocado jungle. And that just will not do.
No, they need to be able to get those avocados because that's important.
Now, some people think that the Piranha Women are just a legend, but as a representative of the military, I think that they're a major agricultural problem.
Absolutely. And that's why we need Margot to go there, and Bunny's going to tag along.
Well, they make it pretty clear that if she does not agree to all of their terms, they're just going to cut off all of her funding and basically she'll be out of a job. So
Exactly.
It's pretty clear where the power lies.
It's true. And this next part is absolutely not important, but God damn it, I love the teaching supply lady.
It's really good. It's just a series of dumb ass gags, and they are it's basically like police squad level gags.
Yep.
Okay, 3 legal size pads, 10 manila envelopes, dictaphone recorder, and 4 one-hour tapes. I'll need a Bowie knife, first aid kit, 100 feet of nylon mountain climbing rope, breech loading revolver and holster, 1,000 rounds of ammunition.
Full metal jacket, hollow point, or Teflon coated.
Which do you think would be best for fighting the dangers that lurk inside a hostile jungle environment?
I would alternate hollow and Teflon bullets in the chamber. That way, you have maximum stopping power, but still armor-piercing capability.
It's so good.
It's I mean, yeah, they have excellent funding at Spritzer College.
Yes.
So Bunny comes along because it is pretty clear that it's safer in the jungle. And so Dr. Margot Hunt and Bunny set off for the edge of the avocado jungle and go to look for a guide to take them inside. And that's where we meet probably the most recognizable actor in the movie, sad to say, Bill Maher. Very young Bill Maher, playing exactly who you would expect Bill Maher to be playing.
He was playing himself.
I'm not afraid of the Piranha Women. Any more than I'm afraid of a certain ethno-historian who, terrified of her own frailty and need to be loved, abandoned her femininity in a bizarre charade of scholarship and androgyny.
He's sort of modeled after a popular, like, Indiana Jones style, like, bushwhacking, swashbuckling jungle hero type, but he's playing the same sort of coddled, anti-feminist, men's rights kind of bro that you would expect him to be playing.
100%.
His name is Jim. And of course,
after the one night stand with Margot, he crawled into a bottle
and
never came back out.
Yes, he and Margot had a one night stand some time ago, so they have a gross, awkward history. Who wouldn't be ashamed of having a one night stand with Bill Maher?
Well, at least it wasn't a long term.
I know I am. So Bill Maher basically gets defaulted into being the guide because he has the only copy of an out of print book about the Piranha Women and the avocado jungle and how to find your way through, which they don't really seem to be using at any point in the future of this movie.
I'm pretty sure that it was all made up, which is why he wouldn't let them look at it. He just wanted to hang out with them and get some money or something, and everybody else was scared.
So he asks for $25,000 to be the guide, and she says, "Forget it," and he immediately drops his offer to $50.
Yep. It was good. It's a good offer for what he does. And then they drove to an
It's
orchard.
probably worth that.
Yeah, probably. Then they drove to an orchard. That's how they got to the avocado jungle. They drove to an orchard.
You mean the lush ass jungle?
Yep.
The
The orchard
leopard in it?
The orchard with a leopard, and then they got into a boat and off camera shot a California hippo.
Yeah, they're smaller than the other kind. Their ears wiggle when they're angry.
It's great. I love shooting the California hippo.
I would love to know exactly how much actual space is taken up by their jungle set, like what that looks like if you pull back. I always assume that at every single moment that's on the screen, if you panned 1 inch in any direction, you would just see somebody's house or telephone poles and satellite dishes.
Most likely. And then the other question I've got is, did they ever actually plan on shooting a scene that featured the California hippo, or was this part of the gag?
I just assumed that was never intended to appear on the screen.
Yeah. Either way, damn, they did it good.
It's their whole trip through the jungle is just like a series of obvious like battle of the sexes jokes. And this is again like where it's just shocking to me that it's not really offensive, but it's not. It's like it's not great, but
No.
It's like it's not really like it's not at anybody's expense except Jim most of the time, and he's like a piece of shit. So
every step of the way, they towed the line expressing that this is 100% about the bullshit that exists in men's minds, while also entertaining the idea that it's a weird perversion at the same time. And it is a weird perversion that's all about the bullshit that's in men's power control hungry minds about this. Why are these women saying we can't do these bad things anymore? And it's
very interesting because it doesn't attempt to make any really profound points, and it doesn't shy away from making jokes about feminism either, but it's not like it's observed from a place of respect in this strange way, I think.
It is. And now we've got less than a minute, so we're going to get cut off.
Oh, yikes, indeed.
So hold those thoughts and give me 2 minutes and I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm going to go refill my coffee.
All right.
Here it is, the avocado jungle. Look around you, Bunny. In front of us, the lush, untouched rainforest of the last surviving matriarchy. Behind us, the polluted patriarchy of Western civilization. We're leaving a world dominated by men and entering one ruled by women.
What they do.
Welcome back.
Back to what?
I don't know. What are we again? What's your name?
Cotter.
I've never heard of that.
My name is Cotter, and you said welcome back.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I made that joke at work the other day, and like literally no one who was working there had ever heard of that. And I was like, it's just a show from the 70s. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you should have probably thrown some coffee beans. Not because that would
that happens. It happens more and more often.
Did I ever tell you about when I worked at that Mexican restaurant, Mamacita's in La Grande there, and in the wintertime it was really slow and I got bored, so I started making oobleck and throwing it at the wait staff.
Nice.
Yeah, so, mixing the cornstarch in water until it's a non-Newtonian fluid and rolling it into balls and then just fucking chucking it at them, and it would hit them and then turn back into a liquid and start running down their shirts, and they didn't understand, and so they didn't know how to fight back, and I guess they were really upset about it and complained to the owner one day, and then Sandy came in and she's like, "Hey Ted, there's been some complaints from the wait staff that you're throwing liquid at them? What is that? I was like, oh, let me show you. And I showed it to her and she's like, wow, that's really neat. But you can't do that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess I'll do it a little bit less, but I'm still gonna do it. Okay. Sandy was fantastic. It was
Yeah, Bill worked for her for a long time too.
I really enjoyed working for her. There was one experience with her that I thought was also equally entertaining, which was there was this one kid who was working there for a while. He was 16 or 17. He was bussing tables, and he was just constantly flirting with her. And nothing wrong with that, but eventually it was like, hey, I'm engaged. Leave me alone, please. You know, I don't need you hitting on me so hard. It's not my thing. And I guess somebody else who was there that day talked to Sandy about it, and she came in to talk to me the next day. She's like, hey, so he doesn't know he's gay. So, you know, don't make him feel weird. I was like, I thought he was making me feel a little weird. I'm not trying to, like, he doesn't get it yet. He's very young and very much a very gay man and doesn't understand it yet. So just don't let him.
I feel like at a certain point, if you are hitting on
a
someone,
guy really hard,
like,
it's like, Sandy, I think
that
you're a
should
little
probably
old
clue
and
you
you don't
in.
understand.
Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Sandy just didn't get that he was like, hey, I am into this.
I mean,
food.
maybe he's really good at compartmentalizing.
It's entirely possible. I just
Like a couple years later, he's just like, he pops this cock out of his mouth. He's like, wait a minute.
am I into this?
You know what? Is this? Oh,
One of those. I never got it.
it's all right. Let me let's explain a few things.
How I didn't know that. Sandy was right. I didn't know. It was just that was just so funny for me. He doesn't know, and yet he's hitting on me so hard.
Speaking of sensitive men,
Yes, like the
as we
Donahues.
travel up the river, we meet the Donahues, which is a pretty extended sequence, which I think probably the weakest narratively. I understand sort of like why it's there. There are some valid reasons for it, but the whole thing for me has always played like it's a little sloppier and a little more obvious than some of the
second
other
act was not as good as the first.
Yeah, it's definitely like if you need to go make yourself a sandwich, like it's during the Donahues.
Yeah, they throw potholders as offerings.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is sound. I will say the idea that there is a tribe of males that is sort of a symbiotic tribe with the piranha women, like I can kind of see that. Like that's an interesting place to start. You could have crafted a much better and more vital sequence using that basis than what we actually get here, which is, I think it's probably because it seems like the shots are just cheaper than they are during the rest of like it's not as well observed. And I think it's valid to have a chance for Bill Maher to be toxic. Like, I think
that's what it was needed.
That is
yep.
Right. It's important to see that this is a group of men that is actually functional, but he doesn't approve of the way that they function. And so he comes in with his completely different set of ideas about what is masculine and feminine and how these things are supposed to be divided, and very immediately corrupts what they have going. Like on paper, like just like the outline of this sequence works for me, but I just don't really like any part of it that's actually there on the screen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the movie needed this scene, but they didn't need it this way, except for the fact that it was Bill Maher playing Jim. Because Bill Maher was Jim, we needed it done this way. But we also kind of needed Bill Maher to play Jim to make the rest of it come together. So we had to have this. It's like The Empire Strikes Back. It was bullshit, but you needed it, right? You know.
Yes, I'm sure you will not find anyone out there in the world who would disagree with you about The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it was bullshit, but you needed it.
I don't really need any Star Wars myself, frankly.
Yeah. You know, if you're into Star Wars,
I mean, I don't like. It's fine. Like, I'm not anti Star Wars. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. Like,
yeah, it's
all.
all unnecessary. But yeah,
well, everything that I actually do care about is also unnecessary, Ted. I mean, that's not really a benchmark. Like Halloween, that's not necessary. Like VIP, like that's not necessary.
Our stepfather didn't even like dressing up for Halloween when he was a child.
Yeah, he's always seems like a dick.
It's necessary. You need Halloween. It's what separates the dicks from the rest.
I read like 12 issues of 1974 Swamp Thing yesterday, and that felt really necessary. It was awesome.
Good times.
I just bring that up because I just read it and it was awesome, not because it's related to anything. Although it's kind of jungly.
I threw axes yesterday. That's kind of cool, but
I mean that could happen in a swamp.
Yeah.
I was
And
actually when I was reading it, I was thinking about how like a Swamp Thing versus cannibal women in the Avocado Jungle of Death would be pretty fun.
They're not vegetarians.
Well, no, but I'm sure we could find some reason for them to be at odds. I mean, as it turns out, this movie, in fact, gives us pretty strong precedent for the piranha women being at odds with other people over really stupid reasons.
Oh, we'll get to that. But first, I need to remember briefly when I was 9 years old watching Swamp Thing or Swamp Thing 2, one or the other. He did actually, on purpose, break parts of his body off to feed a vegetarian. So yeah, clearly he does want to feed women.
One. It's oh god, that movie is so bad. I watched both of them recently because yeah, I know. Well, Swamp Thing, the first Swamp Thing, it's rough because it's old and didn't have a budget, but it's not a bad movie. Like the story is okay. It was just it had a lot of limitations. The second one is just painful as fuck. It is so bad. I wanted to watch Swamp Thing recently and it wasn't streaming anywhere for free, but the second one was, so I just watched that like as to tide me over. Oh god, so bad. Oh
yeah.
But the original one, the first Swamp Thing, that was my first Adrienne Barbeau movie. And that's so I mean, I know people know her from a lot of different things, including Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death, which we'll get to in just a minute. But to me, Adrienne Barbeau is the girl from Swamp Thing. Like, that's who she always has been first and foremost. I think Swamp Thing was on the movie channel when sometime during my childhood, we had like a free movie channel preview for like 30 days. And at this point, the movie channel would have like, maybe like 12 to 20 things that just sort of cycled 24 hours a day. And I watched Swamp Thing like probably 9 times that month. It was really good. I loved it. And I just watched it yesterday because it was on Tubi like free with commercials, and so I watched, and I forgot first of all, I forgot like that incredibly gratuitous topless Adrienne Barbeau scene that just goes on for like, it seems way too long, and she's just sort of standing there like quote bathing in the swamp with like her breasts are just like, she's just high enough above the water that her breasts are completely exposed, and she's just like picking up like little palms full of water and just like rubbing it down her arms and like glistening her breasts. It's fucking weird. But I will say, I think this is actually the only time I've ever watched Swamp Thing not on video cassette or on like a really old TV. So it looked great. Like it's the most beautiful I've ever seen it. But that was weird. Like Adrienne Barbeau just there's no plausible reason for a human female to bathe in this fashion.
Yes, there is. The director says, "Get in the water, Adrienne Barbeau, and keep your boobs out, and get yourself wet with palms of water, Adrienne Barbeau."
Well, you see, okay, Wes Craven directed The Swamp Thing, and I've seen a lot of interviews with Wes Craven and like interviews with people who worked with him, and he seems like a really nice guy, and he's sweet, and like that doesn't seem like something he would do. But I mean, maybe I wasn't there, but I'm just gonna say it felt kind of weird, a little exploitative, more so than even like, this is the guy who directed The Hills Have Eyes and A Nightmare on Elm Street, but this felt way more exploitative than any of that.
Never got into The Hills Have Eyes. Never saw that one.
It's not that great, but it's certainly like, that scene would have felt more at home in The Hills Have Eyes than it did in Swamp Thing, which was generally like a pretty straightforward science fiction movie.
Fair enough. Well, let's
Anyway,
get past
Adrienne
the
Barbeau.
Donahues. After they get away from the Donahues, after there's the whole when the guys drink a beer and then try and molest Bunny.
It gets a little rapey.
It did, and so let's get
That's
past
actually the
that
most
bad moment.
exploitative part of this movie. Like this
Bill
whole movie,
Maher makes a tribe of men try and
Yeah.
molest a young girl.
I'm never more uncomfortable watching this movie than I am at that scene, which honestly, like, that's pretty mild for like, it's essentially an exploitation movie, but like with training wheels. It's kind of a parody of exploitation movies, and it's got some gestures toward all of those tropes, but for the most part, it's like, it's really like, yeah, I mean, there's tits in the first 2 minutes, and then everybody is covered up all the way through, including Adrienne Barbeau.
And then Bill Maher tries to get a tribe of men to molest Bunny, but that's Bill Maher
it's
playing
Bunny.
himself.
She's so fucking sweet. Come on, it's like, I'm not comfortable with that.
And when they're quoting Bill Maher and saying, "Hey baby, wanna go for a ride in my vet?" and she says, "I don't know, where's it parked?" As she's scared and trying to get away from them. Poor Bunny.
I mean, you do feel instant like a sort of sympathy for, like, I feel protective of her.
Yeah, she's Bunny, and Bill Maher did what Bill Maher did.
Yeah.
So
it's got to grow. Anyway, we can put that scene behind us now.
We dealt with the Bill Maher.
Donahues.
The second act is full of bad things, and Bill Maher is terrible.
Yeah.
Let's move on to
Then we leave, and we quiver. We quiver in the water. We do some quivering. Our voices quiver.
My voice is not quivering.
Yes, it is. It is. You always tell when a woman's in love, because her voice quivers when she speaks.
My voice is not quivering.
Why are you getting so emotional?
I'm not emotional.
It's quivering again.
Yeah.
And then we stop for Fritos.
Why are you
and
quivering?
guacamole. Probably because she hasn't eaten enough Fritos and guacamole.
There was that. And
I-
then Margot went,
That whole
"Meh."
sequence feels like product placement for Fritos, but like I also feel like there's a 0% chance that Fritos contributed money to cannibal women in the avocado jungle of death. So
I hadn't considered it until now. I am going to see if I can ask the internet if they did.
it seems really unlikely. And because I hadn't really thought about it before, but yeah, I mean it feels like product placement, but then the way that the Fritos pay off is that we use them to see that the piranha pool is full of piranha. So maybe the whole thing is just there to establish the presence of the Fritos so we can toss one into the pool, which seems like a pretty long way to go for continuity.
All right, based on my very, very cursory look here, Fritos did not contribute any money to Cannibal Women.
Now, since we've already broached the return of the killer tomatoes, what do you think about the remember the fake product placement in that?
Oh, that was wonderful. That was the best.
Do you think that any of those companies actually contributed money?
Yes. I'm not going to look it up.
Pepsi presents Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
Until we cover that movie, I will not look it up, but I do believe that they did. I honestly believe that they did.
All right. Well, then I choose to believe that although they wanted to remain a silent partner, Fritos did definitely provide funding for cannibal women in the avocado jungle of death, because Reginald Q. Frito IV read the script and recognized the artistic merits and the necessity of its social message, and felt that the Frito-Lay Corporation really needed to bankroll this project to make sure that it got made and was put out there in the world. And I think we all really owe Fritos a debt of gratitude. So everybody go out there and buy yourself a big old bag of chili cheese Fritos. It only works with chili cheese Fritos. And tip one out. Tip one out for Karen Mistal and Shannon Tweed and for feminists everywhere.
I think you must have pushed a button on your computer because you are freeze framed and artistic, and it's all pink now.
Huh. Interesting. I can see what you're saying. I didn't push anything, but I can see something has definitely happened.
Fair enough. Either way, it doesn't necessarily need to have video for this. Anyway, so after Margot chases Jim around with a knife and he climbs up a tree and screams, "You want to eat me, don't you?" Maybe a little bit.
Only for a minute.
Then the piranha women show up and they all run off with the piranha women, who, as you find out, are white ladies.
Well, it is the California jungle.
Yes, and they're very scantily clad in presumably the human flesh of their male sacrifices. And they all speak French.
Pourquoi vous avez le chapeau dans la bouche? What did she say?
I'm not sure. It's a strange, difficult language.
Do you think that those outfits are meant to be human leather? I'd never really thought about it.
That's my assumption.
I assumed for some reason that they were vegetable matter.
Could be, but I just assumed that was supposed to be human flesh.
Huh. I mean, that works too. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it a little bit darker that Bunny's only reason for wanting to become a piranha woman is to get one of those cute outfits.
I think it's great. So they get ushered into the piranha women's compound of whatever it is that's, pretty fun looking, built out of stone. And they find out that Dr. Kurtz is the leader of the Piranha Women.
So this is again, this is the whole Heart of Darkness Apocalypse Now deal, where Kurtz has gone native, and so of course ultimately it will be up to Margot Hunt to take her out, as it were. So indeed, the Piranha Women became more aggressive after Kurtz showed up, and because she apparently took over and told them to be more aggressive. As she says,
I'm not here to study the Piranha Women. I'm here to lead them. The future of feminism lies in this temple.
You're saying the future of women is in cannibalism?
Face up to the truth. This is a war. A war between men and women. Anything short of cannibalism is just beating around the bush.
Yeah. and
she
also,
oh, go ahead.
She's the only one who wears shoes.
She is, and it's kind of not practical shoes.
Very much.
But I mean, that's a trope too, I guess. Dr. Kurtz also tells Margot that everything that the military had told her was a lie, that the whole avocado gap was nonsense, that
they're dumping avocados
really just
in the bay or some bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. It's all bullshit, and the whole plan is essentially to destroy the strong feminist society to protect American patriarchy. Which, yep. I mean, what else do you expect?
They want to take the Piranha Women and move them into these new developments and train them to be just California beach bunnies.
Now we have a war between two different feminist ideologies.
When Dr. Kurtz escapes, we find that out.
But what's amazing is Margot and Francine have a battle, and it's pretty awesome.
It is.
But we have a clash of two ideologies, and Margot runs off. Bunny stays because she wants one of those cute outfits. Margot runs away and she gets chased into the jungle, but she gets rescued by the Barracuda Women. And this is where we get a really clear idea of the extent to which these societies are willing to war over what some outsiders may view as trivial differences.
The Piranha Women believe that men should be slaughtered and eaten with guacamole dip.
And you think that's wrong?
Yes! We believe they should be eaten with clam dip.
That's it? Clam dip?
It's a fundamental principle.
You people have been divided for thousands of years because of a kind of dip?
Clam dip?
Hey, I've made some great clam dip before. I can see it working out.
Oh my god, I can't even believe that you would do that. Do you honestly believe that Bunny should have sex with Jim and then tear him into strips and eat him with clam dip?
All I'm saying here, Matt, is the avocado jungle does not for 1 second touch the ocean. Where are these Barracuda women getting their clams?
I assume they have clam farms, right?
They got some trading going on. They're nowhere near the ocean. They got some trading. They're definitely doing better with interacting with other groups than the Piranha Women. The Piranha Women are isolationists, and the Barracuda Women are actually interactive with the rest of society, and they're probably
maybe the Barracuda Women just have a Safeway.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, they just go buy those little half-gallon tubs of like Dean's clam dip.
That's probably where Jacques was working before he started working out. Piranha Woman's place to get all beefy.
Oh, Jacques. Oh, Jean-Pierre.
So anyway, obviously very important differences in ideals here. You know.
Yes, they've apparently been divided for thousands of years.
And they all speak French.
But Dr. Margot Hunt thinks that maybe, just maybe, she can reunite them. But first, she enlists the aid of the Barracuda women to try to rescue her friend.
Yep, and they go and they do a bad job of raiding the place, but of course they all manage to do it somehow anyway, because that's the movie. They get all
and
up
meanwhile,
inside.
Margot discovers the manuscript, Ted, the secret manuscript.
Finds out that she's just trying, that Kurtz is just trying to exploit the Piranha Women for her new book.
Oh my God, in an exploitation movie?
Yes, it's terrifying. And so she challenges her to a duel. And then they have a sword fight scene.
Incredible, epic battle. That
it rivals the sword fight scene from oh god damn it. Now I'm just, why can't I think of the great movie with Wesley?
American
Princess
Ninja
Bride.
3?
Yeah, American Ninja 3, Princess Bride 4.
This battle is as epic as the jungle is lush.
The fighting is so unacceptable. They can barely even manage to hit each other's swords.
This is intentional, right? I mean, because
I don't know.
But okay, listen. I will accept that movies of this type generally have like really, really terrible action sequences. Yes, that is just a function of the genre. But this one is like when they've got those battle axes, they're not even pretending to swing them. They're just tapping them against each other. Like I think that the battle is meant to be part of the parody, but also sometimes parodies are so accurate that they become the thing that they are parodying, and that is sort of happening here as well. But it is amazing.
There's a part of me that believes that it was intentional that it was that bad. And then there's another part that feels like this movie is definitely fueled by a degree of cocaine in the 80s. And they might have written it all out and been like, then they have this epic fight scene with all these different weapons. And then they get to it and they're like, fuck, we haven't trained them to do anything. Fuck it, let's just do it. It'll be fine. Just a couple more lines, guys. Couple more lines of coke. We're gonna be fine, ready to go. Yeah.
I mean, okay, I don't know if Adrienne Barbeau does a lot of coke.
Well, she
but I
doesn't
do
have
know
to.
that she is a competent actress, and I feel like the two leads who are performing this scene are making no attempt to like acquit themselves in the action of it, and that makes me feel like it's intentional, because you can't perform actions that are that there's no motion to it, there's no rate, like you can't perform that scene and not be aware that you are not performing an action scene. So it's got to be on purpose, because Adrienne Barbeau has been acting for a long time and is good at it, and Shannon Tweed is way better than a movie like this deserves. So I've got to believe that they know what's happening here.
It's either intentional, that and the California hippo scene. It's either intentional, or they were told, we're going to have this filmed later and we'll tie in your conversation scenes with actual action from something else. It's either 100% intentional.
Like we're going to do a wide shot with stunt doubles and like
yes.
cut it in.
Yes. One or the other.
I hope they told them that.
I hope that they believed it.
They should make
just
like
it's
an
all right.
amazing
Clink your swords
director's
together
cut.
a couple of times. It'll be fine.
They should like George Lucas this movie with a director's cut where they just intersperse all this stuff and like this like super amazing hippo.
Oh, no,
And-
really bad computer generated.
And sound design that like doesn't sound like the entire outdoor movie is taking place inside a tin shed.
That would help. All right, bad sword
So-
fight scene.
Yeah, and obviously so Francine dies by I guess leaning into a foil. It
Yep.
looks like. Yeah, but this is Heart of Darkness. This is Apocalypse Now. So that means that the character of Kurtz has to die after saying the horror, because that's the rule of Apocalypse Now. So in this case, she cops to having exploited the piranha women, and having really only intended to write a book, and do the scene. She talks about the horror of appearing on David Letterman.
I had to do it. I'd been on the talk show circuit for 6 months. The token feminist. Butt of every bra-burning joke. You don't know what it's like trying to face David Letterman with a book on male insensitivity. I needed something more. I thought, piranha women, cannibalism. Who could laugh at me then? I was exploiting the piranha women. You don't know what it was like. David Letterman, the horror of that show. The horror.
And then she pitches herself into the tomato soup piranha pit, which we know is full of piranhas because we threw a Frito into it earlier.
And
it
bubbles
got
came
all
up
frothy.
immediately.
Just like they did in that movie Piranha.
Yep. God, it
That's
was
why
good.
we as Americans know that bubbles under the water means piranha. So
That's
that
how it
shorthand
goes.
works on
I
us.
mean,
Yeah.
They create foam. It's beautiful. That's why they are known as the foamy fish.
So Francine dies. The tribes are united, and we all decide to return to civilization. Is the secret temple of the piranha women, is that like, what is that building in real life? Like, is that like some weird college library or something? What is
It's
that?
probably on a campus somewhere.
It felt really campusy to me.
It very much did. But yeah, they get back to the campus. They mock the dean and the military man, and then it was a pretty weird, quick, short scene, and then it's to Jean-Pierre, the love interest of Margot Hunt, being like, I'm taking all of these feminist classes that you've suggested to me. Bunny climbing in a window being like, I'm marrying Jim.
It's the way we leave our characters it's kind of unclear what lessons we may have learned from this journey we have taken together. Margot seems to be it's with Margot, because her concern was that equality between the sexes was sort of a pipe dream, that's what we wanted, but that was actually out of reach. And she has brought this fellow back from the piranha women, who is basically, he has not been civilized beyond what the piranha women have taught him. And now she's just basically modeling him into her own plaything, right? Like, how she's not exactly she doesn't seem to be attempting to achieve equality to me. That's not the vibe I got from the scene, really. But
No,
she
because
was
it's
trying
all
to...
happening in Bill Maher's head, and it's all about his fears of where society's going.
Is there a secret ending where like Jim just like wakes up drunk in the back of the bar and finally crawls out of the whiskey bottle? He's like, "Oh fuck,
I gotta
it's an
stop
awful
this.
dream."
Where's Margot?
So, yeah,
it's
and
all wrong.
Bunny and Jim are going to get married because that's what she has always wanted. And we like, has Jim learned anything from this? Like,
No.
he gets the girl. I don't know. His whole character is they try to sell him as being harmless, and I feel like within the context of the movie it kind of works, but like we have to forget what he did with the Donahues in order for this not to seem like a potential horror movie ending.
If there was a sequel, it would be bad, and I hope Bunny ate him.
Yeah, but that would be like we should end. This ending would have been better if there was like a little flash forward with
her
Bunny
eating jerky and having a baby.
Yeah, like Bunny and that'd be perfect. Bunny and Margot, like pregnant friends together, each of them eating Jim and Jean-Pierre and being like, well, that didn't work.
It would be even better if there was like.
Let's agree that happened.
I'm down with that. I also kind of want somebody to walk into the room while they're noshing on these sticks of jerky, just like she was eating the plant food in Return of the Killer Tomatoes, and go, ah!
And be like, ew, is that clam dip?
Yes. Where's the guacamole?
That should be guacamole.
Such a wonderful movie. All right, we've got a minute and 23 seconds.
We're almost out of time. All right, Ted, what did we learn? What did we take away from this?
That men can be eaten with both clam dip and guacamole dip, but I don't think it's a good idea to stir them both together because that's fucking disgusting.
That sounds awful. I think we can definitely all agree on that. We can all agree that there is a secret ending to this movie where both of the men are eaten by 100%. The two lead women. I think I just want to end by recommending to everyone to watch this movie. Watch it with your family, with your friends, with your children,
with the people you plan to eat.
With the people you plan to eat. Maybe they'll get the fucking hint for once in their lives.
Yes.
Ugh. God, I love you, Ted.
Love you too, Matt.
Until next time.
Until next time. Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death is a fucking amazing movie.
Watch it, love it, make it a part of you. Take it inside with a big old scoop of dip.
Yep, either choice. Either one's good.
Depot. Devoid. Depot Devoid is hosted by Matt Fagan and Ted Fagan. Depot Devoid is not hosted by Ian Fagan because he died and we miss him. Reach us at depotdevoidpodcast@gmail.com.